Good night here in Indianapolis. Our Indiana Pacers beat the Knicks. Always feels good when you beat the Knicks. So welcome inside the comfy confines of the Channel 13 studios. I'm Scott. We'll get with Angela, find out about the chilly temperatures that we're dealing with tonight and what you can expect coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a big day in our city. We've got the Jets in town to play the Indianapolis Colts over at Lucas Oil Stadium. So the city is buzzing about Thursday night football. Also, it was a good day for our city because today was the first day that the COVID vaccine was available in the Pfizer kid-size version for children between the age of 5 and 11. And boy, did we have big lines all across central Indiana. We'll show you what Jenny Runovich discovered today. Also show you some long lines out at the track. And we want to talk with Dustin Grove tonight about his special report that is going to take us inside the ICU and give us a look at what these healthcare heroes have been doing on the front lines over the last year and a half and how they take their work home and the difficulty that has been on these medical workers. But let's begin our evening as we always do with Angela. And my friend, boy, it was another chilly night tonight after what was a pretty chilly day today, huh?
Yeah, another day in the 40s, officially 49 in Indianapolis. So second day in a row we didn't get to 50.
Right.
But 49, we're moving in the right direction. So I actually think we might get 50 tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, and 60s coming up, right?
And 60s in the 7-day forecast,
Nice.
But it's cold
Yeah,
right
it is.
now. I don't have to tell you this if you've been out, but these are the numbers. 33 right now in Greencastle. We've dropped to 37 already in Indianapolis and Muncie. We're down into the low 30s, 33 Lafayette. We're at freezing, and Richmond 32. So again, if we're already this cold at 10 o'clock, you know it's going to be a cold night. We'll go below freezing again with overnight temperatures in the middle and upper 20s. Heavy coat weather is what we've called the last couple of days, and students will need it as they're at the bus stop early tomorrow morning. You'll need it if you're going to spend any time at all outside the early half of tomorrow. Temperatures do rebound like they have the last couple of days. Cold morning, but then we're in the 40s midday and forecasting highs upper 40s, low 50s. Roof officially in the window closed. We got the official announcement on Twitter earlier today. Simply going to be too cold. It's what, an 8:05-ish kickoff or so tomorrow evening at Lucas Oil. Temperatures will be close to 40 degrees, but we do climb. We've got some 60s in the 7-day forecast that will be here as early as Sunday.
And that's good.
It is
because we look forward to that. Because when we get the 60s on a weekend, man, that feels awesome.
Yeah, for those of us that work Monday through Friday, that is good timing.
Good news.
When we've got sunshine and 50s and 60s in the weekend.
All right, let's see. Scott joining us tonight saying, "Brr," Scott and Angela from Orleans, Indiana. Richard is with us tonight. Teresa from Indianapolis. Anastasia from Syracuse. We've got Angie from Cambridge City with us tonight. Brian saying, "Brr." Jeff saying, "Vaccine free, no jab for me, not my kids."
Okay.
It's your choice, Jeff. Ralph saying good evening. We've got Jack from East Central Indiana in Wayne County tonight. We've got Tanya in from Frankfurt. Wes is back with us. Randy and Teresa. Brian saying good evening, WTHR team. So we got a lot of Facebook friends in the house tonight. Busy show to get to. Let's go ahead and begin by showing you the long lines that we saw today. Look at the drone cam 13 shot. This is outside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I mentioned to Anne Marie on the early news today. This felt a little bit like race morning. Everybody waiting to get inside the oval and park on race day. Look at all those cars packed with parents, taking them to a vaccine clinic that goes from 4 until 8. It's my understanding they started turning cars away around 6:30 today because there were so many people. That vaccine clinic gives the Pfizer vaccine to kids between the age of 5 and 11. It's the Pfizer vaccine, and it's a smaller dose, smaller needle, and that will be open Tuesday through Saturday, 4 to 8, and then they go 8 to noon on Saturday. So long lines there, and Jenny Runovich also found long lines today.
Yeah, when families in Fishers learned it was their turn, Hoosier kids ages 5 to 11 could get their shot. They lined up to get it done.
Catherine Benko came with her dad, one of the first kids in Fishers to get the pediatric dose of the COVID-19 vaccine just approved by the CDC.
What is?
Within seconds, she had her first shot.
It didn't hurt at all.
And her family found relief, especially Mom, Catherine says, who's been waiting for this age group to finally get protected.
She was like really wanting me to get it, so I just wanted to get it so she could stop bugging me about it.
Get it in, get it done. So especially because of holidays and all that coming up and seeing relatives, trying to keep everyone safe as possible.
Okay, we're almost done. Thanks for being patient.
Within about 2 hours, the younger crowd grew, and so did the line at the Old Marsh at 116th Street and Brooks School Road. Walk-ins on Wednesday, quite popular. Appointments are recommended starting Thursday.
Hold on. That wasn't bad, was it?
Everything here is color-coded to differentiate doses. The Pfizer pediatric vials for ages 5 to 11 in orange. And kids get to pick out a toy while the nurses do their work. That was a comfort to 8-year-old Isla.
At first I was kind of scared because I don't really like shots, but I just got distracted and then it just felt like a little pinch.
Once she gets her second shot, her entire family will be fully vaccinated. She's their youngest.
As soon as I got approved, as soon as it opened up in Fishers, we're like, let's do it. Picked her up from school and brought her here.
Complete with a photo finish.
During this pandemic, we've spent a lot of time focusing on the healthcare heroes, these frontline workers that have done a remarkable job taking care of all of these COVID patients. And tonight at 11, we've got an amazing story about these healthcare heroes. Dustin's going to take us into a place that not many people ever get to.
That's right. We wanted to see what really do they have to go through? What have these nurses, these doctors, these all of these healthcare workers, what have they gone through the last year and a half? And so we were not allowed inside the intensive care unit of any of these hospitals just because of the pandemic. But Community Health sent a photographer in for 8 hours, and then we got to see the video. And frankly, it was really impactful, especially some of the moments where you saw these nurses phoning the wife of a man who had to be sedated because he had to be put on a ventilator. The wife didn't know at the time whether her husband was going to survive. This is something that these nurses and these doctors have been going through 12 hours a day, every day, for more than a year and a half. Here's some of what we captured.
Behind closed doors inside Community Hospital South.
This is like an actual look into what it's really like.
Nurses are pulling back the curtain to show what life is like here in a pandemic.
I cried a couple times at work yesterday and I cried all the way home yesterday. It was just, it really hit me.
Call me if you need anything.
More than 18 months after COVID-19 first appeared, this fall it continues to dominate the intensive care unit. The images and the moments are both heartwarming.
Hey. Hi. I'm just coming in to be your friend.
And heartbreaking.
We're at that point we're going to have to put him on a ventilator, a breathing machine, because we're having trouble oxygenating him. So he wanted to call and tell you he loves you before we sedate him.
At least once or twice a week we have those phone calls, if not every day.
How concerned are you for your nurses?
Extremely. We are still in a fight and we are fighting as hard as we can, but it is getting harder and harder to keep that fight up just because we're exhausted. There have been a lot of nurses that are just, there was one nurse I talked to that left the hospital setting. She told me that she has seen too much death.
And Scott, that nurse isn't the only one. We took a look at a recent survey by a national trade group for critical care nurses that found some really startling numbers when it comes to how many nurses are at least considering getting out because of what this pandemic has done to them.
Because these frontline workers, they just can't leave work at work. They're bringing home the stress and the anxiety and the fear home with their families.
That's right. And we actually went home with a nurse to talk with her about that. We also talked to her husband about how this has impacted their family life over the last year and a half. We're going to have all that coming up tonight at 11.
All right, we'll be watching. Thanks so much, Dustin.
Thank them enough for all of their hard work. A year and a half of work that every day that I can't even imagine.
Yeah, life-saving work.
Life-saving work.
Yep.
My job is way easy. 20s overnight, 42 midday tomorrow. We'll be in the upper 40s and low 50s for the next couple of afternoons, and then 60s arrive for the end of the weekend on Sunday. But yes, they've done just amazing work.
Yeah, Sherry comments, God bless our nurses. I think a lot of us feel that way. The techs, the doctors, the nurses,
everyone
all
involved.
those staff, all
Yeah.
those frontline workers, first responders.
I worked at home for 6 months.
Yep.
And you didn't, and healthcare workers didn't. I
Yeah.
mean, there are so many people that have been in this from the very beginning with really no break.
Yeah, imagine that 12-hour day every day for 18 months.
No. And then having to place those calls for their patients and not knowing what happens on the other end of being intubated.
Right.
Or being put into a medically induced coma. I just can't imagine.
Right. All right, so tomorrow, big day for our city. We've got Thursday night football, Colts and Jets over at Lucas Oil Stadium. Jim Irsay keeping the window and the roof closed. But it's going to be cold tomorrow night, isn't it?
Cold tomorrow night. You may need a jacket going in and out of Lucas Oil. And wear your blue tomorrow.
Of course.
We always try
blue
to wear,
out.
Yeah, we wear blue on Fridays. I have to remember to set the blue dress out tonight, otherwise I'll forget.
That's right. And it's going to be cold in the morning too, as kids are getting out.
Yes. So coat needed most of the day. If I've been taking my walk kind of early in the day, and I've needed a coat and a hat, and really gloves. And Ann pointed that out too. So if you're spending, an hour or so outside,
right.
It's not as it's snowing and frigid,
right.
But it's cold enough that your hands get cold and you're better off to just bundle up.
Yeah, I took my 8-month-old granddaughter out for a short walk today, and had her bundled up. Had the real heavy onesie on, zipped that thing up, and then had a heavy blanket on top of that. She was just, I think she was having fun.
Oh, I'm sure she enjoyed the fresh air.
Yeah, she did.
Even though it was cold, it was really nice with the sunshine to be able to get out and get the fresh air.
Bet.
Because, sometimes come January and February,
oh, I know.
we're stuck in snow and we're stuck inside. So
right.
take advantage of it while you can.
You bet. All right, so Angela and I will be with you coming up tonight on 13 News at 11 o'clock with the stories that you've seen here previewed for you on Facebook. Thanks so much for joining us here on Facebook, and we'll see you tonight over on Channel 13. Good night.